So guys, the easiest way for Sowore to ruin his political career is for him to just keep attacking Peter Obi. I mean, attacking Peter Obi has created more enemies for Sowore than friends. I mean, because Sowore is not focusing on the challenges of Nigeria and telling us how he's going to tackle those challenges. I think these are the ways to easily convince people to abandon Peter Obi and start following you. I don't think you coming out to rubbish Peter Obi on, media houses is really a way to win supporters. No, it's not. Because many people are like seeing you to like attacking just Peter Obi's personality, that Peter Obi is not different from the politicians we have in Nigeria. So Sowore believes he is the only politician with integrity, not people like Peter Obi. So attacking Peter Obi is not going to help Sowore's, political career. That's my take. He should rather focus on the challenges. We have a whole lot of challenges facing this country. Each time he finds himself in these media houses, talk about the challenges and talk about your own ideas on how to resolve these challenges. I think that is the easiest way for you to convince people that you are the right person for this country. Anyway, let me allow you to take a look at what Sowore said about Peter Obi, that Nigerians are reacting to, saying that Peter Obi is Sowore's nightmare. Now take a look at this.
Very, very, very critical.
Yeah.
So let's come home now to 2027.
Yes.
Peter Obi seems to be the more how do we put it now? The more outgoing among the opposition leaders. Certainly much more outgoing in terms of what he says regularly. Of course, Atiku is also there. But what do you think about the fact that even the Labour Party, where Peter Obi is in shambles? So, do you think that the Peter Obi candidate that we had in 2023 is likely going to be the same in 2027? I wanted to ask you.
I just don't want to be talking about Peter Obi anymore. But I will say it because it's part of the issues that I raised. My position in 2022, 2023 is what is unfolding now. That contrary to the belief or the impression created that Peter Obi was opposed to the system or is capable of opposing the system, that he is incapable of doing it. I also stated in 2022, 2023 that the Labour Party was a short renter, what they call Airbnb in America. You move in, you check out when your time expires. And that when they are done with Peter Obi, they will move the renter to another place. So Peter Obi, maybe rightly or wrongly, or maybe he's doing it for sure, then decided that he doesn't want to move out of the short renter. And now they got locked in practically out. The reason why it probably got more attention was this. There was this whole debate around the Muslim ticket. So the Christians said, okay, you want to Islamize Nigeria, we want to Christianize too. And who was the best person available to them? Peter Obi. That's what happened. But in terms of opposition, I don't know why anybody calls Peter Obi opposition. Peter Obi is not opposed to anything that the government is doing. Peter Obi did not even organize his supporters to fight for his own election victory, he claimed. He did not fight when they increased fuel price. He has never done anything that opposition people do. Even these terrible people that are in government now, no matter what you say of them, they used to protest. Buhari protested with his deputy, and they tear gassed the man and he died after that. Tinubu, they organized several protests.
Exactly, all the way
they were using Amechi them. People have forgotten. Nasiru used to go to DSS, they would arrest him, they would release him again, he would talk. So, you say you are opposition. Do what the opposition do now, you can't do. And the only thing you can say is that, there was no need for a protest in 2012. Where are the people? Are they dead? If the people in 2012 are dead or have sold out, what happens to you with 6 million voters? Put them on the street. Even if you can't put 6 million people on the street, put 60,000 people on the streets in this Abuja and see how the government would take you serious.
Interesting.
But you and your supporters are the ones who are pouring cold water on even any protests. Because you don't want the country to change. You want it to be replaced. You want the Tinubu group to to either be replaced by your own group or for Tinubu to assimilate some of, because look at all the Labour Party people in the National Assembly.
Yeah.
They are not decamping back to where they are coming from. They are decamping to APC.
So shameful.
And this is the point we're making, that these guys were not real. In 2023, they were not real. In 2027, they're not real. And I'll say one last thing about them. I think the Tinubu regime enjoys their type of opposition. Yeah. So you see that any time they seem to be phasing out, they will throw red meat at them, because they know that this is the kind of opposition that doesn't pose any threat. These guys are never going to get upset to the point that they will turn Nigeria to Mozambique, where somebody stole the election and the person who gave the election and the one who stole have not rested. You know, so even countries like Uganda, you know, Bobby Wine now, they're giving hell to the people, the dictators. So you have them here. You say your opposition leader that is all, you know, attending.
Because of our time, now specifically as an example, you know, you were the president of student union in University of Lagos.
That's correct.
In the 90s. Yes,
I was student union president when I was 21 years old.
I remember.
Yes.
You know, you know, NANS used to be, you know, even then.
The president of NANS during my own time were two guys. That was Olusegun Mayegun, who was president of the University of Lagos Student Union.
Well, you were president of the Student Union?
Yes, after Mayegun.
Okay.
So, and then when he left, Nasir Okura from BUK became NANS president. And then one fellow, Noja, was his secretary. All of us were undergraduates. So there was no room in those days for a PhD holder to be NANS president.
A PhD candidate, you know.
Or candidate. Whomever they call those ones, anybody who is studying PhD.
Yeah.
In a university should be a member of ASU. Because what people must understand is that the moment you start your master's degree, you are already, if you want to, in the US, put in some kind of academic research or a supportive role to a professor in case you want to become a professor. Right. That's how. I was a professor for 8 years with a master's with an MPA. So how do I go back to the University of Lagos, register for an MSc in maybe or PGD? In the most popular one is what they call the Politics of International Diplomacy, MILD, Masters in International Law and Diplomacy. And then I go back to NANS and just to become president of NANS. It is unbelievably dishonest and disgraceful.
It's very interesting.
And that they even try to defend it is the worst thing that I've ever heard, you know. But the truth is that they actually go register so that they can take over NANS. Because it is the people who need them that will tell them where to register to go to school that they will have that credential. According to them, there's a clause in the NANS constitution that says anybody that has an 18-month program can become NANS president. And so they'll go and register somewhere. They may not have even been to that school before. We call them non-academic students in our time, or career students. And so many of them were students some 15 years ago. The one that have been beaten up, Atiku Issa Abubakar, used to write articles for us in Sahara Reporter some 10 years ago.
Are you serious?
And then one day he called me and said, I'm going to become NANS president. My first reaction is that, don't you have kids who can do that? What's wrong with you? Of course, I defend his right to personal liberty and dignity. But I do not support him going back to the university. Atiku Issa is probably about my age. And that's the question I asked him. So what are you doing in NANS? Of course, his response is that, well, the other guys are my age, too. So I asked him, where did you go to school? He said he's doing law. He went back to read law. What university is that? Some Kogi State University. I'm sure he went to register to read law for the purpose of and when he was about to do his inauguration, the people he invited had nothing to do with NANS. Atiku Abubakar, Shekarau, Wada, who was former governor of Kogi State. Those are the people, and he tried to use me to legitimate. He invited me. And I told him, I said, can you send me the list? And I sent him a message. I said, who amongst these guys even participated in student unionism during their own time? Most of them didn't even go to school.
So you didn't go?
No, I didn't, of course. I rejected it outright.
I understand that if Governor Shekara was there and he was even rough-handled.
Yes, because that's what NANS has become. It has become like an organization for people who engage in thuggery outside to become, of course, the thuggery wing of the ruling party or whomever is in charge of NANS.
Yeah.
So I started a campaign yesterday, say free NANS.
Okay.
That's like, NANS should be returned to undergraduates. See, one thing that people don't understand about this National Association of Nigeria Students is that it is not just an organization to fight. It's a training ground for people who want to lead in the future. I left the University of Lagos some 35 years ago, but my best credential is based on my integrity as a student union leader. In fact, all these leaders in Nigeria, whenever they want to come and campaign for office, they will tell you they were student union people before. They will figure out, or they will say they are former activists. So, and when NANS was NANS, it was a tough place, or student union for even people, no matter who you are, if you don't have the credentials, you can't become a student union leader.
I was going to
Do
say,
you know that Soludo tried to become a student union leader at Nsukka? He lost.
Is that so?
Yes.
Wow, okay, I didn't know that.
It took him how many years later to become a governor? Because the students didn't accept anybody who was not radical enough, who was not, well informed, exposed.
Soludo go to? Was it?
As Nsukka is in the University of Nigeria. So this Soludo solution he was using was his campaign.
Is that so?
It's in Nsukka in those days. So a number of these guys. Yes, sure. No, it is. They were together with, I think it was Chima Obani that defeated him.
Okay. Oh, wow.
As the secretary of the student union. So in those days, so many of the guys who are now couldn't win NANS elections or student union elections because the student union elections were very democratic, they were transparent, and it was rigorous.
But the question is, so how did NANS got to that state? When did that decline start?
No, it was under the military. It was Babangida.
No, it was under the military. You were the president.
Yes, but it was during Abacha that they finally got NANS. And they just had been after all the pressure groups in the country.
Right.
They had come after the Nigerian Medical Association, the NBA. They disbanded the NLC.
And rebranded it.
I rebranded it, and they became a transport union instead of workers' union. They gave them buses. So NANS was the last one they couldn't break because we were there. But the moment we were leaving, they introduced cultism to start suppressing genuine student activism on campus. I was attacked by cultists on campus.
I remember.
The guy in that Ife, Obafemi Awolowo University had the most vibrant student union at our time, but we were competing. I was president of the University of Lagos Student Union when Ebuade Borowa, we call him Big Sam, SAN now, was president at
Ife.
Yes, and Mikey Guinea was president at Benin. So imagine the quality of students at that time and where we are today. You will recognize who we were to have led students. So you cannot be a fool and lead students successfully in our time. Students would impeach. There used to be a student parliament.
Of course.
Just so that you know.
Of course.
It is the undergraduate student union leaders that are members of the NANS Senate. The NANS Senate is the parliament of NANS.
Yeah.
So how do you then go to a Senate of NANS made of undergraduate students and you are in front of your grandparents?
Tell us, I don't think you've shared this story nationally, and since it's very, it's in line with what we're talking about, the descent of NANS. What really happened to you? I know that you came to the US and you got some treatment. Can you tell us the story of what happened to you in that repression of Abacha, which is where you said the turning point for NANS descent?
Yes. So what happened was that after June 12th election was annulled,
So you have seen it for yourself. Like I've just said, that the easiest thing Sowore can do for himself, is just for him to focus on the challenges Nigeria is having today and the way forward. Not you coming to, to just be attacking Peter Obi as if Peter Obi is the problem of this country. And we are living in a country where, yes, it is not easy to really be a politician in this country, because see, all these cabals, they will force you into what you don't really want to do. And the image of Peter Obi has been circulating on the internet, Peter Obi and El-Rufai, that Peter Obi will have to run with El-Rufai as his vice presidential candidate. And some people are in support of it, some people are against it. Some people say El-Rufai does not align with, El-Rufai's ideology does not align with Peter Obi's ideology. And some people also say, for the fact that El-Rufai has a lot of influence in the north and he's a very close ally to Buhari, and Buhari's supporters will likely want to vote for El-Rufai. They are awful, and it's that it would be nice for Peter Obi to work with with El-Rufai, considering the number of followers El-Rufai has. But look at this ideology of a thing. The ideology does not match at all. Peter Obi is far different from who El-Rufai is. So some people are really against that. People like Dele Farotimi, they came out to say, there are decisions Peter Obi will take, and he will not want to vote for Peter Obi come 2027. But for now, Peter Obi remains his preferred candidate. Except Peter Obi takes like a running mate that he does not believe in. So for me, if I'm to say, that does not mean that if Peter Obi runs with El-Rufai, Peter Obi is no longer Peter Obi. No. The environment calls for that, because we believe that many voters are there in the north. So, but when you look at it from the integrity point of view, El-Rufai is not that man Peter Obi should work with. And for me, I'm thinking that if Nigerians could vote for Dati Ahmed and Peter Obi in the last election the way they voted, see, Nigerians are going to do more, because those that voted for this APC, they are regretting it. They are regretting it. And for the fact that these governors are joining the APC, they are not going with the people. The people are the ones feeling and bearing the grunt of this government. So it is not even easy for, like, Delta State that has defected. He defected on his own, him and his family. It's not all the Deltans that followed him to the APC. So I think Peter Obi still has that good chance, to win elections with Dati Ahmed. And if he chooses to run with El-Rufai, I think it's just because that's what the politics in Nigeria calls. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think about what Sowore has said in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a